the aerial tour of the fires, it's not as obvious from the air just how much damage has been done. Again, we flew over the entire area, parts of the state, the entire, they got more rainfall in a single day than they get in an entire year in parts of the state. Drenching rains, powerful winds, floods, landslides, but you don't feel it till you walk the streets or when you're able to walk. And toppling of thousands of trees, 20,000 customers, 200,000 customers lost their power through the storms. Now it's less than 5,000, but it's still 5,000 people don't have power. We got to get it down to zero. Nearly 150,000 people were under evacuation orders. Now it's down to 1,400 under evacuation orders, and under 300 people are still in shelters. But tragically, 21 people died, and that little boy we're still trying to find. Everybody I've talked to so far today just spontaneously brings that up. The fact is, Jill and I have him on our prayers, the family on our prayers, and all of you. While the situation is still treacherous, we're cautiously optimistic that the worst part is behind. The water's receded, but we'll see the full extent of the damage to the homes, the businesses, and the farms and ranches. And we know some of the destruction is going to take years to fully recover and rebuild. But we got to not just rebuild, we got to rebuild better. We got to rebuild better. Last week I signed an expedited major disaster declaration for the state of California. Yesterday I directed the federal government that will cover 100% of the cost of removing debris and emergency measures like sheltering evacuees and paying overtime for first responders for the next 60 days. For 60 days. And right now, more than 500 employees of FEMA are out here and other federal agencies on the ground trying to help people. FEMA positions supplies for 100,000 meals, 100,000 liters of water, 20,000 blankets, 10,000 cots for shelters. And will be disaster recovery centers in every impacted area, including Santa Cruz and Merced, where survivors can apply for assistance, and if their homes or their small businesses have been damaged. That's already underway. The Army Corps of Engineers is helping remove heavy debris and safely, and monitoring 7 reservoirs in the Central Valley and the San Francisco Bay Area. I've instructed my administration to bring every element of the federal government together with the help of immediate needs to long-term rebuilding to do both. We have to, in terms of the infrastructure, there's got to be significant changes that made, and the federal government's going to be here to help get that done. For example, the Department of Agriculture is helping farmers with disaster loans and grants if they lost livestock or their crops are washed away. So the Small Business Administration, and some of you were with me when I just went through the small business along the piers here, it's devastating what happened. But they're going to get help local businesses with low interest loans so they can recover. And now if you don't have insurance, or if you're underinsured, FEMA is going to get you started on home repairs and replacing lost or damaged property like cars or refrigerators, things inside the home. They'll be able to be replaced quickly. To apply for assistance from FEMA, you can go online to disasterassistance.gov. Disasterassistance.gov. You can also sign up in person for disaster recovery centers in the coming days. There are going to be at least 7 centers opened across this state, and FEMA is going to deploy disaster survivor assistance teams to communities that need them the most. We can go to the FEMA website to find that location. And look, as I've said on other disasters, the key is not just building back, it's building back stronger. Just because since I became president, we've spent $9 billion in disaster assistance to California for the extreme weather events they've had to go through. $9 billion, and these weeks have shown the compounding effect of the disasters. For example, places that were ravaged by past wildfires are now at a higher risk of landslides. Extreme weather caused by climate change means stronger and more frequent storms, more intense droughts, longer wildfire seasons, all of which threaten communities across California. So we have to invest in stronger infrastructure to lessen the impacts of these disasters because they become cumulative in a sense. We've already allocated funding from the infrastructure law that I signed a year ago, and more than $16 billion for more than 480 projects across this state. We're making the California power grid more resilient, building stronger levees, clearing hazardous fuels, and reforesting lands, to protect against wildfires. And together, we can better prepare for future disasters, reduce the damage they cause, and the people's lives and livelihoods that are affected. So let me close with this. To the people in California, I say it again, the country is here for you and with you. We are not leaving till things are built back and built back better than they were before. You can recover from storms. We'll be with you every step of the way. And I mean that sincerely, every step. And God bless you all, and may God protect our first responders, who we owe more than I could take time to talk about today. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
President Biden delivering remarks from Seacliff State Park in Aptos. That's in Santa Cruz County, just east of Santa Cruz, and Capitola, another area that took quite a bit of storm damage. He says the country is here with you, remarking that disasterassistance.gov is the place to go for people who need help. And Santa Barbara and San Luis Obispo counties were a part of the major disaster declarations that frees up federal resources for people here in our area who are in need of help from the devastating storms that we just went through early last week. That will help to pay for removing debris and emergency shelter for people, among other things. The president also talked about $9 billion in disaster assistance that has gone to the state of California, and he mentioned plans underway to improve and upgrade infrastructure to deal with more storms. And Governor Newsom updated the number of people who have died from the storm. It is now 21, which does not include the 5-year-old boy, Kyle Doan, who rescuers are still searching for up north in San Luis Obispo County. So that is it from President Biden and his remarks today. He landed in Santa Clara County at Moffett Airfield and took a helicopter tour of Santa Cruz County, along with Governor Newsom and U.S. Senator Alex Padilla. We will have more on his remarks, and we will continue our coverage online and on air, KEYT.com. Our next newscast is right here at 4 o'clock.